Somebody that views you as a commodity is looking at your price, not just the experience that you have to offer. Expertise is obviously very important, but you know what? I'm going to bet, I don't know how many people subscribe to your podcast here, but I'm going to bet most of them have the expertise needed to take care of 90% of the clients, maybe all of the clients that are potentially out there.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Palmer, and today's show is going to be a brilliant one. Our returning guest is a customer experience expert who always brings great wisdom to our podcast. Shep Hyken, welcome back to the podcast.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have you, and it's such a gift to our listener, and we really appreciate you and giving us this time. And so my question to open it up, because I'm sure our listener has listened to your episodes in the past, is what's been going on since you last joined us?
Well, how long ago was it?
It's probably about a year.
So, I always say, what's changed in customer service? And the answer is nothing, because it's always the same. People have a need, they have a question, they have an issue, they even have a complaint. And when they're finished with the interaction they have with whoever they're talking to, they just want to be happy. That's not changed. And it won't change. That's going to be the same 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now. But what is changing is you're seeing a greater adoption of automation and technology to support the entire experience, not a deflection of keeping people from talking to a human within your organization, but used in conjunction with everything we already have. I'm getting ready. I'm excited to get a book. It's not even out. I'm getting the galley copy because I'm probably going to have the guy on my podcast. He talks about, and this is something I so much believe in. I don't believe AI is going to take away jobs. It will strike that. It will take away jobs. It's not going to take away the jobs in the world that I live in, which is customer experience and service. It will on the most frontline level of the automated, easily automated, repeatable tasks and questions that get asked. But, and this is the point, if we use it the right way, and this is great for your bookkeepers and accountants and everybody, if we use it the right way, we're going to become more efficient. We're going to become more effective. We're going to create a better experience. And none of that is about losing somebody in our organization because automation can replace them. It's going to be about we're able to be more productive, create a better experience, and maybe our people will have a better lifestyle as a result of what we do as well. So because we may not have to work till 9 or 10 o'clock, sometimes we may be able to get it done by 6:30. Makes sense?
I would agree.
I don't know.
I think it does. I think you're right.
That last part I'm not so sure about, but it's, it's something good.
Well, yeah, maybe people won't get more free time, but there's certainly somebody will. But right. I would say there'd probably be more jobs in customer service because of the fact that, where's the opportunity? It's in having real human conversations. Those become scarce. Those become valuable. So the work's going to go into how can we have humans talking to humans and making sure that you're differentiating yourself, I think, through that way. And certainly getting all of the in-between nonsense out of the way is a good thing, right? I actually had a call 2 or 3 days ago where I'm pretty sure it was an AI agent on the phone. And the experience was great. It was like, I knew it was, they didn't tell me it was fake. They were not fake. I shouldn't say fake. They didn't tell me that it was an AI agent. However,
they
it got what I needed.
They weren't human.
There you go. That's what I need to say. They didn't tell me that they weren't human, but the experience got me the result really quickly. And I was okay with it because my problem got solved and I actually got to the human a lot faster. And that's great. Right. So, lots of opportunity, I think. And and it relates to our listener today, which is great, and probably a great tee into what we want to talk about today, which is, we in our industry offer very similar services,
right?
And so it's like, how do those customers compare each other, and what causes clients to choose one bookkeeper over another? And I'm sure AI will weave into this conversation as we go.
A little bit. I'll share a story, a personal experience I have with my accountant, CPA firm, who I don't necessarily have a bookkeeper, but I'm in constant contact, or used to be, with them on a somewhat regular basis. And they went from, I would fill out my questionnaire, my year-end tax planning questionnaire, by hand. Not a big deal. They switched to the automated version of that, which is now I do it online. The reason I don't like it is I always am coming back to pay. Like I paperclip the pages I need to come back to because I know there's information. Now I got to go search for them. So I can get over that. But what I can't get over is that they eliminated my year-end meeting. Once that was filled out, we went and met and went over everything. What am I missing? And so here's the problem. By filling out that book, I told them what I thought I had. Maybe they asked all the questions, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But I know this. It's like I always used to walk away saying, I need to provide something else. This is the first year I didn't. And it's only because I didn't have somebody personally telling me. Nobody told me, I don't know. And so the commodity trap, by going automated and not having that meeting, they just threw themselves into a commodity where now I'm going to say, okay, there's a lot of other great firms out there. Now we're going to look at who's the least expensive, because now it doesn't matter. And if they're listening to this, please call me because you can save me.
Yes. Well, that is interesting. And so it's driving. So the real opportunity or risk to the opportunity is commoditization, where everybody's throwing in these automated agents, non-human agents, and then what makes them actually value and want to pay even more for the services, they have to figure that out.
Yeah, and here's the thing, when there is a commodity, what is commodity pricing? Low pricing. Think about that. So if you choose to play the game of turning yourself into a commodity, and by the way, maybe that's the right strategy for you. Maybe you're interested in numbers over relationships. That's fine. It's up to you. But at the end, somebody that views you as a commodity is looking at your price, not just the experience that you have to offer. Expertise is obviously very important, but you know what? I'm going to bet, I don't know how many people subscribe to your podcast here, but I'm going to bet most of them have the expertise needed to take care of 90% of the clients, maybe all of the clients that are potentially out there.
And I think that gap closes as well with AI, right? Because people have the knowledge. So it's not just experience, it's also, do they know what to do, and can they get the answers to the things that they need to get to? So there's lots of pressure that could really be placed more than ever probably on that push to being a commodity. And so why is competing on price such a dangerous strategy, and what should our bookkeepers be focusing on instead?
Well, I think you always need to be recognize competitive pricing is not lowest pricing. Okay, that's number one. Number two, can you create the experience that makes you indisposable because of the relationship? Number three, you have the expertise. That's a given. That's part of the commodity. So AI or any automation should do this. It should amplify what you already are. So if you are trying to be lean, mean, and be so efficient that you never have to pick up the phone and talk to us, AI will help you be that. If you are the kind of person that wants to have your quarterly meetings, your monthly meetings, your annual meetings, whatever it is, on a regular basis, you want to have that time set aside, and that's what your relationship's about, AI is going to make you even better at that. So you get to choose which direction you want to go and recognize that AI can be the amplifier. And when I say AI, it's any technology or automation or AI, large language model, generative AI, the ability to, talk and have it talk back to you. All of those, used the right way, are extremely powerful depending on which way you want to go. You just have to decide. If we take ourselves out of the business that we're in and look at overall general business, any company that decided to go all in on automation is now backpedaling because they realize they're losing market share to the companies that are still somewhat human. So humanity is so important. And by the way, you can use AI to create your monthly report that you send to people. You can use it to create a newsletter, things that will make you look good. But always, if it's important to separate yourself, humanity is typically what does it. The empathy, the understanding, the relationship, knowing your client's history, all very important.
So important, and the human becomes so important in this formula, which is an opportunity for those that want to go in that direction. So when it comes to creating an experience, a client experience that stands out without adding a lot of extra effort, what are some ways our listener can do that?
Without adding a bunch of extra effort, I believe that the client experience that we gave 5 years ago is the one we must. If it was working, that's the one. And that was pre-ChatGPT and Claude and all of that 5 years ago. Actually, we'll even go just pre-COVID. Whatever you were pre-COVID, if you can get to that point and use AI and automation to make you better at what you do and amplify your capabilities and become more productive, you'll be able to service just as well as you always have and probably more clients. But I want to make sure that we get to the question that you just asked, because I know without adding a lot of work, that was it. What do you spend your time on repetitively? And that is what you need to take a look at. Is there a way to automate that? Is there a way to cut a part of that out, which gives you more time to focus on the human than it does focus on some type of task, if you will. So that's where the agentic AI, which is basically turning, here's an incident, here's a situation, and then something has to happen as a result of that, and it is automated. If we can learn to do that with, and again, you know your business far better than I know mine, but there's probably certain pieces of this that can be automated and make yourselves more productive, giving yourselves more time to focus on the relationship, or the same amount of time that you've always focused on the relationship, but more time to build new relationships and build your business.
I like it. I mean, it's an interesting flip. It's remove the work that's not necessarily needed by you, or maybe it's streamlinable, or automation can be put in. So you're actually removing work so you can spend extra work on actually spending time with humans, doing human things, having conversations, and creating a valuable experience for them.
Do you remember, do you guys have Panera bread up where you are? I know this is far bigger than where you
do.
live. Yeah, so Panera was bought, they bought St. Louis Bread Co. and turned it into Panera. Bread Co., when St. Louis Bread Company and Panera were expanding, they became pretty big. Then one day they started putting kiosks in where you could go up and self-order, more or less self-service. And it was real clear. They said, we are not going to get rid of anybody. We're going to create a little bit different experience that we think is going to be more engaging with the customer. So they put those food orders in. Now, by the way, they've changed the way they've done it. I'm just telling you a piece of history here. Mm-hmm. A customer comes in, they order what it was. They get their little number. It's on a buzzer or whatever, and they set it on their table. And what happens is they don't call your number or they don't buzz and have you come up. They bring the food out. And they're looking around, and they felt they could better engage with the customer in the restaurant than stand behind a counter. By the way, there's still people behind the counter not as many because those people are now food runners. And they're running out, they're engaging with the customer and creating a better human experience. And I'm going to keep using that word human experience. I'm probably overusing it, but that's okay. I think it's important for all of us to understand that that's what's being lost when you over-automate. You lose humanity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great example with the restaurant where they're just you're moving people resources over to ones where they figured they could get a bigger impact. And now, do you know they did that? How has that gone for them? Have they shifted or altered?
It went very well. Because of the way the industry has changed, it's a different system that I don't know if it's working better or worse. I haven't really paid all that much attention to it. I just paid attention because I used to go there every week to meet a bunch of guys for breakfast. And I just noticed, new system. And then I went home and I Googled and I found out, they're doing this across the entire, franchise or across their business because that's become their model. And that was what they were very clear about. Nobody's losing jobs here. People think, let's automate, let's AI, we'll be able to cut a job. It's pretty hard to do that if you're going to do this right. You can become more profitable with the same amount of people because it's going to cost you less to do more.
Okay. So on that same vein, memorable experiences, how does our listener turn routine interactions like onboarding or monthly reporting or client meetings into memorable experiences?
Sure. Well, the first thing I'd say is what's not memorable is not interacting with your team, or you as an individual. So what we want our clients to buy into is this is the way we do business, and this is how we help our clients, and this is what we promise to do for you. So first and foremost, keep your word. Your promise is your word. Your promise builds trust. Trust creates the confidence needed for me to keep doing business with you and not think about doing business anywhere else. The frequency or infrequency is going to depend on what your client really wants. You can lose a client by saying, we need to have monthly meetings. I don't want monthly meetings. I want quarterly meetings. Well, the way we do it is monthly. Guess what? You're not for me. Gone. It would be very easy to adapt to what somebody wants. And unless it's for a reason that you truly believe this is not what I want, then you, as the owner of your business, gets to choose who you want to do business with, how you want to do business with them, and the way you like to do business with them. So memorable, back to the idea of memorable. Memorable is I know you so well that when we get together, without me having to say, remember how well I know you? No, you just are able to, you're so prepared. You always know. You're up to date on the latest, whatever changes are made in, bookkeeping and tax codes or whatever it is that you're involved with. And you just seem to be knowledgeable, friendly, helpful, engaging, empathetic, and understanding. These are the reasons people are emotionally connected to the companies they do business with. It's not a building they're connected with. They're connected with the people inside that building. There are a few exceptions, and Amazon comes to mind. They made an entire business about being online. When there's a real problem and you need to talk to a customer service rep, you can do that. But I even think about Walmart. They're known for low prices. You know what they're not known for? They're not known for having a ton of people in their stores. But guess why that's fine? Because they're also not known for being rude and mean to their customers. Everybody you talk to at Walmart is still friendly. You just realize you want a low price. You're not going to walk into a fancy department store and have somebody in every aisle waiting for you. At Walmart, that just doesn't happen. But they're still friendly and engaging, and they make you feel welcome.
It's an interesting one with Walmart, how they have the greeter. I mean, everybody's probably experienced.
There's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Let's start by welcoming you into the store.
That's right. And that's enough, because guess what? We've made everything pretty easy to find. And if you need help, I'm always right here at the front. If you need to, which is, you probably won't, but it's a weird situation because there's less people, but there's few stores where you feel like you've actually been greeted.
Yep.
unless you, like you say, you've gone into a small boutique or something like that.
And by the way, this is not for people who are just price sensitive and don't make a lot of money and are always looking for a way to save. You go to Walmart on any given day, there's going to be a bunch of Mercedes and Jaguars and other fancy cars sitting outside because they know good value. And part of the value prop isn't that they walk into a store that's dingy and dirty and has product that's just low prices. No, they walk into a clean, well-lit store with enough people there to support you when you need it or close to when you need it. And they're always friendly. And they have an incredible variety at a pretty reasonable price. And I would even say competitively low prices because that's part of what they advertise. There's a reason people go to membership clubs like Costco and Sam's. Now, Sam's is an extension of Walmart, and it's a pretty good deal. You pay a small fee every year, and you get access to a place that might save you a little bit more money, and that's why people find it very compelling. The Costco business model, I know we're getting way down a rabbit hole here, is let's make money on the memberships and let's keep our margins so thin that really we're focused on giving our customers the best we can. And if we keep growing our membership, we're going to keep being profitable and grow. By the way, I don't know if the subscription model, which is a membership model, works in the bookkeeping department or a business. But I would venture to say if I sat down with a half a dozen of your colleagues in this business, we could come up with a way where our clients would pay, for lack of a better term, a monthly or annual subscription for the services that we offer. And that recurring revenue, as long as we maintain the promise that we kept to them on what we would do, it's going to be like forever.
So
wouldn't that be nice? That's nirvana. That's bookkeeping nirvana.
That's the bookkeeping nirvana, and they're definitely conversations.
Utopia.
Yeah, it's well, Utopia and Nirvana. We can have both, and maybe Utopia with Nirvana playing. But definitely a conversation and an interesting one. And I would say I find it very interesting how our customers they're all in that conversation, which is how do we price where we can deliver the exceptional experience, the memorable experience, but they're trapped in a really low, like almost a price competitive mindset. Like I can't price too high. And yet if they were to focus on the experience, then you would, it's like, where are you putting your focus? Are you putting your focus on what are you going to charge and how is that price going to land? Or what's the experience that's going to make my customers love working with me and want to stay?
Yep.
So it's a bit of a mindset shift.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. Is a real power. I don't believe I've talked about this with you before, but it's a 6th step to creating the I'll be back experience.
Yes. Don't know. We did do an episode when that book came out, but let's refresh because it's probably even more relevant.
Yeah. So it's the final chapter because this is where everything we talked about, this is what makes a difference. The first thing you want to know is, and I think it'll also help you understand your pricing model. It's a derivative of this conversation. Number one, why does my client choose to do business with me? Am I doing something different than someone else is doing? And don't say, oh, we got great friendly service because everybody has that. Really, what's different? It may be that you look at your client base and you say, wow, do you realize that my average tenure of client is 23 years? That's pretty exceptional. That means, I'm not churning. And that may be one of the things that might make you different, but there may be something you do. Maybe you have a background. Maybe you have a certification or a license to do something that others might not have. So that's number one. Why you instead of them? Number two, and you need to know, competitive analysis. Why them instead of you? Why does somebody choose to do business with them instead of doing business with you? Now, once you understand what those reasons might be, question number 3 is there something that, the competition is doing that I could be doing to make the experience even better than what I already offer in my answer to my first question? Don't they do an exact copy of what your competition is doing, unless it's something that doesn't matter, copyable. The example I like to use is the amenity wars that hotels go through. One day, some smart guy at a hotel said, "Hey, I'm going to give away newspapers to all my business customers." Now, that's been going on for decades, but the hotel across the street said, "Did you see what they're doing? They're giving away newspapers. We need to do that too." And then that happened. And then the third hotel said, "Wow, they're giving away newspapers. Let's do this. Let's offer them 2 newspapers. They get a choice." And then the fourth hotel said, "Why don't we drop it off at their doorstep so they don't have to come downstairs and get it?" See, what's happened is we've copied, but then we've elevated it. Now it's basically a commodity. It's just a standard amenity that you get. But that's number 3. Number 4, let's take a look outside of the industry. Is there some company that we love doing business with more than any other company? And why do we love doing business with them? I always tell people one of my favorite companies to do business with is Amazon. As cliche as that sounds, it's the absolute truth. And one of the things I like about them is the moment I place an order, I immediately know that order has been placed. A little while later, I know that it's been shipped and I get the tracking information. And then I know when it's been received because, I get a notification that it's been dropped off at our home. Now, I don't think people love getting emails unless the emails are really important and personal to them. So I always tell clients, is there some mode of communication along the lines of Amazon who give you information that you want to have about you and your business, in your case, with the bookkeeping business that you're doing for your clients? Is there some communication we could have that would make us stand out even more? All right, so that's the number 4. Somebody outside of our industry, why do we love them? Number 5, is what they're doing something we can do in our business? Like I just gave you the example of Amazon in communication. And number 6, now that we've taken a look at what our competitors are doing and what our outside our industry people are doing, if we add those back in, we go back to question number 1, does that change why people would want to do business with us? And so that's the 6 questions I want you to consider. I also want you to go through an exercise, if you haven't already done it, of journey mapping the heck out of every interaction point you have with your clients. If you understand what happens when they call, how is the phone answered? How long do they have to wait on hold? How long before they get return phone calls? If you take a look at just those interactions, you can create standards to each one of those. And is there a way is that the optimal experience, or is there a way to make it even better? And so I'll use the example of Will Guidara, who wrote a book called Unreasonable Hospitality. He's a restaurateur, and he took a restaurant that was already very, very good and turned it into what was rated as the number 1 restaurant in the world. And he took a look at every interaction that guest had with anything related to the restaurant, the servers, the bussers, the host, any interaction. Keep in mind, the food had to be exceptional because people were paying a lot of money for it. The bookkeeping has to be exceptional because people pay you money for that and they expect it to be accurate and have it work. But what can you surround that with? So he took a look at one of the most, I would say, unpleasant parts of an evening. So if you go to a restaurant, what's probably the most unpleasant part of the whole evening? I'll bet you guess.
The most unpleasant, I would say, waiting for the people to take the drink.
Okay. So you're talking about on the front end. Okay. Well, we're going to assume that's been done, but no, there's something that.
Later on?
Yeah, could consider a little more painful than just a little wait. How about paying the bill?
Well, yes.
I'm not saying it's painful.
I would have said that, but that's the worst part.
It is, because we just had this amazing evening, and let's say I'm the owner of this restaurant. I just delivered the most incredible food. I just gave them a great experience, and here's the check. Cha-ching.
Yes. What's the damage?
Right. So guess what Will did? He decided to make that experience like an over-the-top, blow me away. I can't wait to bring my friends back here so you can see what they do when they bring you the check. So what do we do in any of the interactions that we have with our clients where we can create that moment that gets them excited about something that could be unpleasant? I get my bill every month from my lawyer. I get my bill every quarter from my accountant. There's nothing exceptional about that. It is just something I'm used to paying. And by the way, that's the way 99, if not 100% of lawyers do it. Is there a better way? I think if we sat down with a bunch of our friends who do what we do, we could probably come up with some pretty creative things to make this a more exceptional experience of what is normally routine, mundane. And I'm not going to, I use the word painful, but hey, our clients are parting with money for our services unless we've proven to them again and again, whatever you're paying me is a fraction of what I'm saving you, a fraction of what I'm doing for you. If you were to have somebody full-time on staff, or if you were to, you don't know the ins and outs of running a business from the financial side like we do, we're truly the experts. If I could show you how I can trackably save you money, I'm going to be excited. But guess what happens? After a certain point, I'm still just paying the bill for what I've expected.
Yes, some big opportunity there. And I think the last point that you made on the steps, which is to map out your journey, that's the opportunity for innovation and thinking, well, how can we do something different? It's going to surprise and delight our customers.
Yep, exactly. And that's what I want you guys to be thinking about. You asked for a way to create memorable experiences that don't cost a lot. Well, find where those memorable opportunities are.
Yes.
I'll put a nice bow around that one.
Yeah, that is the bow, and that's more conversations will lead to that. More human interaction, questions, finding out what, like the fellow with the restaurant, he truly understood where the pain was. Well, if our listener can understand where's the pain for their customers and remove that pain, hooray. Shep, this has been absolutely fantastic conversation as always. It has us thinking in an area that I think people often forget, right? It's one of those opportunities. It's not changing. It's there, as you say, every time you come on the podcast. Not much has changed in customer service, but we certainly could probably say that you could always improve it. And what's that number? It's like you don't have to be 100% better. You just need to be 10% or 1% better.
Oh, yeah. So I talked about, anything that's a little bit better than average is going to be seen on a scale of 1 to 5. If you want to be a 5 almost all the time, I mean, some people just don't like giving perfect scores. I get that. But just be a little bit better than a 3 consistently and predictably. That's your average, right in the middle score. And so what does that look like? It means always doing what you say you're going to do, using people's names the right way, delivering, a level of quality. But what happens is when you're consistent and predictable, you don't have to be over the top. You just have to get people to say, I like doing business with them because the word always pops in here, because they are always fill in the blank. So knowledgeable. They always get back to me quickly. They always have the answers to my questions. And then they even think about questions that I haven't even asked that I need the answers to. I mean, they always do something that's expected. And when that word always creeps in there, you are operating above average. How much better than average is that? You just do what you're supposed to do. Let's call it 10% better. Horst Schultz said there's things like, he was the first president and co-founder of the Ritz-Carlton. He said things like use the customer's name or the guest's name, things that were really more tactical. But if all you do is do exactly what you are expected to do and they never have to worry about it, that's what's exceptional. That creates confidence, and that's what gets people to say they're amazing.
Wonderful. As always, great information, great gold in there, Shep. And I'd love for you to share if there's anything our listeners should go and find out from your websites or resources or anything new that you've got on that might be of interest to them. We'd love to hear about it.
Sure. My annual research would have a lot of information that your listeners would enjoy. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. You don't even need to give me your email address. Just go to hyken.com, click on the word research up at the top, the tab, and just download the PDF. There's also another PDF to download. I call it the Customer Confidence Score. This would be really important because when you have your customer, your client's confidence, they don't want to take a chance and risk having an experience they wouldn't like anywhere else. So I want you guys to take a look at that. They're free. Again, you don't have to give me an email address. It just opens up. If you want my newsletter, you have to give me an email address because I have no other way to send it to you.
That's
you
right.
just got to do it. So,
yes.
But the other two resources, they're very, very valuable. And I believe the more you give, the more you get. And I hope people take this. I'm not going to say it's a gift. It's a passion that I have giving this information away. And I hope very much that it's used.
Beautiful. Those are some great resources, and we'll have links where our listener can go and find those. And Shep, again, I want to thank you on behalf of our listener for your generosity and coming on the show yet again, and we really appreciate it.
It's great to see you again. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure is all ours. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guest and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.